Hello and welcome to my retro watches. This is a little how-to video, which is how to realign the date disc or wheel on vintage Seikos. Now this Seiko in front of me is a 7019 from the 70s, but this can happen on just about anything from that era. The 61119s, 6139s even, all the 7 series. It's a common problem. Sometimes it doesn't actually show itself until you service it and then you refit the date wheel and it does this. So I'll give you a quick demonstration. Just take the lock off. So this wheel has a quick set function, and as you can see, no matter what I do, it always puts it up there. And when this watch came to me for a service and a bit of an overhaul, it was lining up fine. So this is typical. So what I have to do first of all is remove the hands and remove the dial. Okay, so the first thing we've got to do is carefully remove this little circlip here, or C-clip. And it's sometimes just good just to go around it gently with a driver. Try not to mark the disc. If you do mark the disc, it's not the end of the world, because this bit isn't seen. Of course, where the letters is seen, so you have to be careful there. Okay, put that somewhere safe, and then you can remove the disc. You could use a bit of Rodico, which is safer. And I'm going to turn it over and explain to you here. So this is the culprit. This little metal gear that you can see, or star gear as I call it, becomes loose. And it's sort of crimped on as a rule. This one is still crimped, but it's crimped with a nicer washer, but sometimes they're quite obvious. And that just comes loose over time, and with my tweezers I can move it. I don't know if you saw that there. It moves from side to side. I'll just do it with pegwood because that's a lot safer. So all we've got to do is move that into the right position, and then once we've got it in the right position, we can then approach trying to crimp that a little bit. I'm going to use a staking set. But a worst case scenario, we could use something else. Now, there's obviously a right way and a wrong way to go, but it's always difficult. I never can remember. I have to just do it on the fly. Sometimes I have it on the bench like this, facing upwards, and then I use my tweezers and I go in through the holes and just manipulate it one way or the other. But realistically, you should play safe and just move it from the back. So I'll give it a tweak. And then we've got to get involved. We've got to keep putting it on and off the movement, really, just to make sure it's going to be where we want it to. Like I say, it's got to be a bit of science. Move up for down and down for up and things like that. But you don't know how far you've got to move it, really. So we'll just do one little tweak and see where we are from there. So put the movement back on, put the disc on, and what I didn't show you, in case you are trying this for the first time. So this date wheel is held in by this is a spring here, and that gets inside the teeth of the gear we've just moved and sort of holds the tension and holds it in place. So what you have to do is put that on where you can still see through the hole, the lever, and then use something. I tend to use just an old oiler. So I'm going to hold it slightly with my fingers, with the finger cots. I don't know if you'll be able to see that. I'm just going to pull it back and let it engage. And that has engaged. Now I'm not going to bother putting the washer back on. We can do that when we know we're in the right position. What I will do is just offer the dial up. And there we go. So lo and behold, it's nearly there, isn't it? It's so close. To me, it just needs to go up just a tad more. Bit frustrating, because if I'd done it first time like that, I'll be really, really pleased. So again, we're just going to repeat the procedure, but now we've just got to move it just that tiny amount. Now I'm just going to move it back just a gnat's cock. Again, just try and put the spring in place. Offer up the dial. Make sure that the dial feet, which are the little things on the bottom, they're going to be blurred on my camera, I know, but so there we go. So I moved it, typical, I moved it the wrong way. Right, okay, as you can see, I am just a hobbyist, not a professional. I like to say that in most of my videos, and that's the reason why. It's my get out of jail free card. Okay, so the reality is I need to move it the same way as I did at the start. Sorry if this video is all my fingers. I've now got the dial in a tangle, but there we go, it's now gone on, and there we are. The disc is spot on. So you could chance it if you wanted to and leave it like that, put the tighten the dial feet on, put the hands back on, and away you go. But if you want to make sure it's not going to move, then you need to try and just crimp that hole a little bit more, because at the end of the day, whatever it is that they use to secure it, this disc, it's just come a little bit loose from the wheel, that's all. Okay, I'm using my staking set for this one. I found a stake that just covers the disc enough, and I'm not over one of the big holes. And all I'd want to do is use my hammer, a couple of light taps, that's all I'm going to take. You could just push it down with your finger, I think, for these. Be a little bit careful, it will leave a mark. If for any reason it closes the hole up too much, then get yourself one of these, which is a brooch. It's a square type piece of steel, and you can put it through the hole and turn it, and it will just open up the hole a little bit, because if you get it wrong on this, that's all that will happen, is the hole will squeeze up. Alternatively, if you haven't got any of this kit whatsoever, which I didn't originally when I started doing this, I would use, as crude as it sounds, a tiny little bit of super glue, and I just put it just by the ring. It only needs a tiny bit, doesn't need, not under a lot of tension in the watch, and that might just be enough to hold it in position. Okay, so here's the disc, and if I try and push that now, I don't get any movement. I am going harder than I was before. As I say, turn it over. It has put a little mark on it where it moved a little bit, but then that doesn't matter, it's still going to fit. So I'll put it back on the movement, put the hands back on, and we'll test it. Okay, the hands are back on, and the date wheel is now lining up in that window nicely. So job done. Just to test it, of course, we have the quick set on this one. So to set the date, it's going to push it in. So it's best to test it at this point, because this is its maximum load. And as you can see, that's clicking over quite nicely. And of course I could well wind it through 24 hours, which is what I've just done to put the hands on, so bear with me. There we go, changes bang on 12 o'clock. So perfect. Just need to put that back in the case. So that's the end of this very quick video. Hopefully you find it useful. This is a real common problem that I see a lot, and perhaps some of you out there might now be able to fix that problem for yourself on your own watches. So please, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. That tells you YouTube's algorithm that this video is good and worth watching, and it will show it to other people. Please leave comments below if you have any. Maybe you've got different suggestions on how to crimp the disc back onto the gear. Perhaps it's a bit safer than the way I do it. I don't know. Welcome any feedback at all. Don't forget to join the Facebook group, Retro Vintage Watches and Restorations. There's 9,000 people in there from all over the world, of all different abilities, whether you're just a watch lover, or whether you want to get into tinkering, or whether you're much further down this rabbit hole that I've fallen into. Everyone is welcome. Come and join the fun. Please also check out my website, myretrowatches.co.uk. You'll see my entire collection on there, and also there's some links to some tools and affiliate things like that do help the channel out if you so wish to purchase. So once again, thanks very much for watching. Oh, and I will say I've got another video coming on this very watch very shortly, hopefully, because the hands on this are pretty manky. So they've got what's called loom rot, and I'm planning to see how much I can restore the hands at home using some basic equipment. So if you feel like you want to watch that one is going to be coming along hopefully in just a few days. So stay tuned for that. Bye for now, guys.